Greetings to you, this is Leon Sanchez Novo, the potential of brain on the first transcontinental. And today I'll tell you about the difference between the brain of the bodyguard and the brain of a usual, ordinary but bright and creative person who is actually very active, and he has a very bright and physically active lifestyle. Those people who are called bodyguards, many believe that these people are killing machines. Some people believe that these are the people who have the contacts with the gun. Those people are bad people. There are people that are sure that if you have a girl, a daughter, then you must never ever let her know about these themes, about these topics. You can see behind myself. A girl must never have any trainings because she's a girl. She has never to be punished because she was born being a girl. And the brain of the person who is called a bodyguard, it's an awakened essence in the entity who is ready to always not react but create the space around. This is the biggest advantage of bodyguards. The bodyguard is a person who is never asleep. It's a person who lives on the principle like a dolphin. Even in his sleep, he sleeps only with one hemisphere, and the second hemisphere is awakened. It's a person who hears all the time. It's a person who hears even more than other people can do. It's because he always has plus 12 to receptors that are active for 24 hours a day. It's the person who never wastes energy to support this rhythm all the time. It's the person who can hear the thoughts of other entities, other people. It's the person who can create the space around and to make the space non-aggressive. The bodyguard is the person who never lives like other people, because all people live using their space that they're in, and they react on this space. The function of a usual person is to react on the situation. You saw something and people react. Some people react fast, some people react not very fast, but people understand that they have to react. But the bodyguard is the person who creates the space and reality. It's the person who... I'll make an example to you. I'll tell you why this profession can be applied as to boys and girls. I think it's a normal preparation for people who are friendly with their head, with their brain. The bodyguard, it's such a person who looks like a lamp. In the nighttime, a lamp can be lit and is bright, and it creates light. And those who have some crime intentions in mind, they will never go to the light. They will try to avoid this lit situation and try to get something dark. If we apply this example to a normal person life, in the daytime, when people live, they do everything automatically. They're just at work, for example, who woke up or went somewhere, normal life things. They do some creative things, they imagine something, they construct something in their head, they study, some people do some sports. All these people, they're actually sleeping. They're indeed in their sleep because they don't feel any space, they don't create the space. The bodyguard is the person who understands that he is not at war. He doesn't need to have a maximum concentration, but he has to be aware all the time. And this awareness happens in order not to prevent the attack, but to use the psychological powers with a peacemaking purpose. His purpose is to create this space around him and his client, make it maximally zero ground, maximum. It has to be secure, maximum secure for the body of the client. So the client himself can be any person, and the bodyguard doesn't require his client to think about something or to dig something in his subconscious or conscious. It's an angel guard, if you will, who creates the secure space that is appealing and acceptable for a client. It's a person, for the most part. Of course, he can use the guns, he can use all the different tricks and techniques in order to reflect the attack, but reflecting attack happens only when he's unable to deal with the first border, with the first task. He missed something in creating the space. The bodyguard is the person who, first of all, creates the illusion of reality. It's the person who follows the air, who manages the air that client is breathing with. It's like a god who creates the atmosphere for the client, and he has to be quiet, he has to be invisible, he has to be just a shade, but at the same time, this shade is very important for the life of the person, direct and indirect understanding of it. If we speak about that there are people, some good people and bad people, you used to know them, and for example, let's take me. For example, before you used to know me with one side, some people called me differently. Some people called me spiritual trainer, spiritual coach. I asked not to call me with any names, but people used to call me with some names. But when people see me on such a training ground, many people would think that, oh, this girl is not very good. We came to get some spiritual understanding, some health issues solving, and the opinion of the person can be changed because he has something in his head that the person who contacts with guns, who has contact with guns, is a bad person. If the person is capable of such techniques, he's a bad person. And the question is where you concentrate the focus of your attention. If you think that I'm a good girl and then I became a bad girl, it's just your personal opinion. If you thought that the person was good and you used to meet with him and you had some relations with him, then you find out that he works in the private bodyguard agency. He uses the psychological functions, and then he becomes dangerous for you and not good man to you. Not because he became bad, he remains the same. The question is, what is your subconscious and conscious thinks about it? And it says that if you easily change the focus of your attention, you can simply change the opinion of the person. In your case, to sleep in the daytime, and it's not important. You can be fully awakened. You can be fully awakened in daytime and nighttime. It gives a lot of advantage because to sleep, a person needs to sleep only when he has to do it in biological terms. And when a person doesn't need that, he has to be awakened. And awakened person, in the morning time, is the person who creates the space around him. If you have children, girls or boys, doesn't matter, notwithstanding their age, actually, there is nothing bad that you begin to train your kid to use his body or his head. Then the kid will be able to learn to interact with the space and to influence on the air that is around him. Believe me, it will be impossible for this kid to explain to him that he owes something to somebody, that he has to follow a certain system. This person will be able to understand from the childhood that he doesn't have to pray his angel guards and to ask them to help him. He can become the angel guard by himself from the childhood. The faculty that works in my institute at the present time, it has the state license, and we don't even have any restrictions of who can study here. Boys, girls, men, women, it doesn't even matter. The most important thing is that the person has to understand why he needs that. And in case if you are in such a state, in such a condition that it seems to you that all that you did in your life just went in vain. Actually, never bother about this, because if you realize that, it means that you're just reacted on something. And if you reacted on something, if you realize that, you can find a lot of variants how you can teach yourself influence on the space around you. You can find a lot of techniques in the internet, or just find let Google be of help to you, how to do it in such a way that you can hear better, to see a lot of brighter, and to calm your neural system down that it will not react to any exterior factors. For me, it's completely enough as for an adult person. But if you are intended that your children they have functions of angel guards, you can give them to the institution where they can be taught professionally. There are a lot of schools, a lot of courses that can teach that. Every country has such a course, actually. There are private courses, there are state courses, but a lot of depends on the psychology that is being taught to a person. The person who actually studies how to reflect the attack, people call him a bodyguard, but that's not right. The SWAT team, which is a professional bodyguard unit, it's just such a unit. We actually are united with different coaches from 10 countries that have a license, a state license, and we decided to have a program, and now it's the second time that we teach the people, we give education to people, not only to men, but to people who have to open the ability to hear, to feel, to know how to breathe, and know how to stand on the ground. A person has to breathe not with lungs or nose, he has to breathe with his feet, literally. If you want to understand how to what is the basis of your health, you have to understand what is in your head. In case if the health doesn't allow you to do something or to change something in your life, you think so at least, and if you are 65 years old and up, I will give you one technique which you can apply at home. Doesn't matter where you live, in the city, in the megapolis, or in the village. The thing you have to do to stop physiological deterioration that is progressing, you need to take off the feet, the shoes, go outside. If it's summer, you go outside and stand firm on the ground. If it's not summer or no ground around, you can have a box with the ground, and it can be pressed. It can be any ground. It could be grass, could be water, whatever. Your task is to stand with your feet, spread your toes, and try to feel the ground with with your toes, and open the toes and try to close it. If you do this exercise for 15 minutes, one time a day, 15 minutes, for 15 days, you will feel much better. If you practice this all the time, it will increase your health potential by 50 or 60%. And never believe that you have to be under certain systems that are created by other people. You are the person who creates your own individual space, that simulation of your life that you control, and only you. Never believe that this is impossible. This is how I live, this is how my students live, and this is how my children live. Thank you so much. Elena Sanchez Novo, the first transcontinental.